Day 17, here we are. Now, if you have skipped over day 16 and just jumped to day 17, congratulations. This is about being a single dad. Again, tomorrow, day 18 is about being a bonus dad, and day 16 was about being a divorced dad. Or if you can go back, you want to watch all three, perfect. You're not going to lose out on anything, trust me. The beauty of this, again, hype music, focus music, specifically to share with anybody that is in that single dad space. Whether you're recently a single dad, you've been a single dad for a bit, hype music, focus music, what habits are you building that you are looking at the 2 habits that you've established, plus the third one. Remember, again, you're being more present with your family. Now, your family, because you are single, right? A single dad could be 1 or 2 or 3 or multiple children, boy or girl, doesn't matter. We've already established in yesterday, day 16, the one thing we talked about is Cortez and burning his boat. And I talked a lot about burning your boats. And your boat is the burn if you've got a porn issue, if you've got an OnlyFans issue, a social media issue, if you're watching movies you shouldn't be watching, burn the boats. If you want to know more about it, go listen to day 16 and I'll talk in depth about that, because this is about being that single dad. Single dadhood is extremely hard, extremely difficult. A lot of things that you're facing. I know. I remember having to juggle and balance. Okay, listen to me clearly. The notion and the understanding of they don't care about your feelings, your children, is no more apparent now than ever, specifically as a single dad. What happens as a dad, as single dad, you have to juggle being a dad and also being an emotional dad. You have to juggle having a crappy day at work and balancing what they're going through, depending on the age group, right? Newborns all the way up. You have to juggle food and preparation and cooking and getting them into bed, spending that quality time with them, regardless if they are still underneath your care or if they've moved on, meaning they've gone to college or they started their own lives, right? You have to find that balance. That is what you have now. That is the mantle. That is what your calling is you now become the everything, the all. Whether you have a good parenting, co-parenting relationship, whether you have a very dysfunctional and horrible co-parenting, or the other parent wants nothing to do with your children, then you have to balance all of that. So this need for you to fix this is highest priority, amplified by 10, easily by 10. I remember having to cook. I couldn't cook. When I was a single dad, I couldn't cook crap. I could cook 10 things, right? And 4 of them, I would be like breakfast, ramen, right? That's not really cooking. That's just what I knew how to do. Then it was chores, making sure they were still doing chores and being productive. Then I had to sit down and make sure they were doing their homework. And then it was trying to get them to different sporting events. Then it was trying to get them to different school events. Then it was like, can we spend time with our friends? And we got to spend time here. And then we got to negotiate there. It was not even organized chaos. It was just a colossal big F-bomb. That's what it was. Here's where I failed when I was a single dad. Here's where I absolutely failed. I'll tell you. One is where I failed is not spending quality time with each one of the 4 brown kids. That's where I failed big time. And I was just trying to balance everything. Okay? But not being intentional with the time that I spent with each one of them. I thought I was doing that. I thought we would go, but we would go together on a lot of things. I'd load them all up. We'd go fun places. Remember I talked about the ice cream? That was a lot of fun. But looking back at it now, wasn't on the calendar that I would spend quality time with one-on-one. And quality time does not necessarily mean monetarily speaking. Spend time, go buy here, go buy this. No. That's not what I mean. Quality time is finding out what their language is, their love language is. The hot wife introduced us all into this love language. We did the 5 languages of love. We took that as a family and a bonus family. We'll talk more about that on tomorrow, day 18. But now, do that now with your children. Have them figure out what is their love language. because their love language is going to be completely different from your love language. Because right now, your love language is, I just got to love my children. How can you love your children if you don't know how they want to be loved? You might be like, hey, I'm going to go out and buy, let's go out to shop and have fun. That may not be their love language. Gifts may not be their love language. Their love language may be, I just want quality time. I don't need gifts. Or the other one is, hey, you're giving them high fives, and really what they want is physical touch. Not physical touch in the bad way, but a physical touch, giving them a hug, putting your arm around them. 8-second hugs. The hot wife would tell me, you got to give them 8-second hugs. Okay, I would give them a hug and then let him go. 8-second hugs does something. Chemically, it does something which is incredible. The feeling of connection in an 8-second hug is amazing. Now, as my daughters got older, I would hold them on the side for obvious reasons. They became more developed, right? So then I would just hug them on the side because that's what you do. That's what I did. My boys, you could still have fun, but you could have an 8-second hug. And what I found out was this. When I would hold like this and hold them, so I was out hugging, I would hold, then their head would drop on my shoulder. That was their sign. That was their signal to me that they felt comfortable. They felt safe. They felt secure. They're building confidence. All of that was in that little hug. The one thing I wish I would have done more was actually schedule time on a calendar. We have a calendar in our house. When I was a single dad, we had a calendar, a huge calendar we bought from, Walmart, one of those big board calendars. I would write up there, Dad, and I should have written up there, Dad, and this child, that, and this child, and picked a day during the week. Would have picked a day to be super intentional. And that would have been our day. That would have been our time to look forward to. Now, how do you navigate that when you get your kids every other weekend and once or twice during the week? Or maybe you only get them once, maybe only get them on the weekends, maybe only get them once a month. However that looks like for you, you need to sit down and sketch out how you can do that, how that is appropriate for you to do. How it is for you to execute on that, to be intentional with the time with them. It may not work perfectly at the beginning. It may not work perfectly for months. It may not work perfectly for years. But the fact that you put in the time, the energy, and effort to say, this day, this is my time with you. This is the time that I'm spending with you. Let me give you another story. During my custody battle, there was about a year into this where, and I would drive 6.5 hours to go see my children, right? One way, okay? I would drive 6.5 hours one way to go see my kids. In that year span, I can count on two hands the amount of time that I had all 4 of them together. Sometimes it was 3, majority of the time was 3, then it was sometime 2, and then there was 1, and then there was times when I just didn't even see them. I would drive 6.5 hours and I wouldn't even see them for whatever reason. I don't know. And then I would drive home, but I would call them, let them know, hey, I'm here. I'm coming to pick you up. Or I would come and pick them up, and then only 1 would come, or 2 would come, or 3 would come. Very rarely for that first year did I get all 4 of them. One summer, went to our meeting place, and one child showed up. Got in and we drove back, okay? And that one at the meeting place, that was only about a 2.5 hour, 3 hour drive. And drove back. Now, I could have been pissed. I was pissed. But I could have been outwardly expressed how pissed and dissatisfied I was. I could have messaged the other siblings and like, what the heck? And could have been completely just a jerk. I could have. But in that moment, I knew that I needed to focus all my energy on the one child that came with me. And we did. We had a phenomenal weekend. It was just me and this child. And I gave all the energy and effort I could to that child. Let them feel special. Let them feel empowered. Let them feel seen and heard. That's what I wanted to do for that child. And after that, they all started to show up because of that experience. So as a single dad, Number one thing I wish I would have done was been more intentional. I would have put it on a calendar. I would have let them know. I would have reminded them, hey, this is the time that we get. We're going to have fun. It could be just going on a walk. It could be at a park. It could be you take them to a movie. Once you find and identify their love language, so go buy the in fact, I'll put the link in here. You can go buy the 5 languages of love for kids and then 5 languages of love for adults. It will kind of tell you our benchmark was about 12 years old. We figured that was a good one. So any child, that's younger than 12, do the 5 languages of love for kids. Anyone that's 12 and older, do that love language. And here's the thing, you will be amazed what their love language is, because it will help you become a better dad. Trust me, it will help you become a better dad. I'll give you the 5 additional things that I wish I would have did better as a single dad. I'll put them in the link. You guys can download them, and I'll give you the reasons behind all of that. Know this, you're doing a fantastic job. Keep it up. Don't ever give up. Don't ever quit. And please, don't ever feel like you're alone, because you are in this community of Mixed Tribe Dads. I love you, boys.